Oh, there we go. Here, let me get center of frame. Actually, let's fix this a little bit. Ooh, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, let me get that. Let me get off me. Get off me. Oh, snap. It is January 15th, 2021. Everybody, welcome to the Craig Smith Show.
I had a moment, I had to be a savage, I had to put it in motion. You so mad and I'm laughing. You know we came from the show me. We don't care cause we blasting up and we glowing. The angels gon' buy me an ass.
All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. Oh man, it feels good to stream. I don't know. Like, I wasn't expecting to actually like this format so much, but I feel comfortable. I don't know about you, but I feel comfortable. How are y'all doing out there? Show me some love in the comments. Show me some love. Show me some love. Sponsored by LaCroix. Do y'all say LaCroix or LaCroix? I think it's LaCroix, but I think people take it and do whatever they want to do with it. Anyway.
Enough.
All right. So I wanted to jump on here. What's up, Facebook, YouTube, IG? Anybody drop your Instagram in the comments. So, number one, let's get this started. Let's get this started right. My name is Craig Smith. I am if you don't know who I am, I'm a rapper. I am a activist. You could call me that. I've given a speech or two in my day about black folks and the plight that we I ain't even gonna get into it.
Johnny, relax.
So I am a rapper. I have music in a lot of film and TV shows. I spent a lot of time in my hometown, Kansas City, going over ways that we could improve the conditions for people in the inner city, specifically black people. And now I'm in Los Angeles. I'm out here trapping. Yeah, we can make some noise for that. All right, trapping in LA. Trapping meaning I'm currently making music for film and TV still, but I'm working on a secret project. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm not as in focus as I want to be. That's the money right there. That's the money. We getting it together. So I basically wanted to create this format. I wanted to create this format for a couple different reasons. My why, WHY, just as a person, is to inspire humanity, curiosity, and hope. And I'm gonna rearrange those. Curiosity first, humanity, and hope. That's my why. Like, anything that you see me do, if I'm critical of anyone, or if I'm doing anything in the public sphere that is that you see me out, I'm putting myself out there, it's usually for the express purpose of making sure that I am providing some sort of an inkling of hope for people. That's my why. Providing some platform on which people can mount their curiosity and say it's okay to be wrong, right? It's okay to explore. It's okay to ask questions. There are dumb questions, but I believe that a dumb question, the definition of a dumb question, I should probably write this down. The definition of a dumb question to Craig is a question that you ask without thinking. So if curiosity is this, curiosity is asking historically dumb questions, but asking them in hopes of achieving a more well. There's a scene, I wish I could play it. There's a scene in what's that Pharrell movie with Taraji P. Henson, Hidden Figures. There's a scene where Taraji's character, and yeah, please guilt trip me in the comments for not remembering this wonderful real character, this real life woman's name. I think it's Alice Johnson. No, that's not. Ooh, Lord, no, don't quote me. Don't quote me.
Johnny, relax.
I gotta learn this.
I have bad news for you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Well, for Pete's sake, say yes or no.
All right. Well, I'll figure it out. But anyway, there's a scene where this lady, Taraji P. Henson's character is sitting down and she's in the middle of the room with all of these brilliant rocket scientists, right? And she's the only black woman in there. And she starts asking, so basically our mission is when the pod is in orbit, we want to calculate the precise moment for it to come down. So and she's asking what seems to the rest of the room like stupid questions, but if you realize what she's doing in that moment is she's trying to get back to the basics of the problem. See, and I feel like this is, and I didn't mean to go off on this tangent, but I'm gonna go because
that little old Jezebel been.
Not that one.
For I am the truth.
There you go.
Hallelujah.
All right. So the reason that she's asking these questions, and I feel like the reason that we should all indulge in a little bit more curiosity, and I'm gonna get to hopelessness and all of that in a minute, but I guess this kind of ties in anyway. And I think in our political landscape, in our relational lives, in our financial lives, the places that we choose to work, the interactions that we have with people, I think are the ills that we face in these particular landscapes are all things that can be remedied as we dive deeper into the basics, right? So for me, a lot of, I guess this is running right into hopelessness. I'm so lonely. No. All right. A lot of what we face, a lot of what we run into, I feel like we make life too complicated. And so by asking the questions to get back to the basics, we always can get a better understanding of why it is we do what we do. So when it comes to the political landscape, have you ever asked yourself, why do you vote a certain way? Right? Why do you not like candidate A or B? Like really ask yourself, like down to the basics, not just because they are Republican, not just because they racist. Yeah, all right, we need you gotta have more than that. Where's your curiosity? Even the Bible, Paul talks about testing everything that he says. We get into that Bible. Don't make me go to that Bible now. Amen.
Hallelujah.
Nah, we ain't going that far yet. But basically, curiosity, humanity, and hope. Those are my why, right? And so with this platform, I lean heavy on those things. So if I'm talking politics, I'm not talking politics to dog anybody. Right. Even if somebody's in the comments or you see somebody up on screen with me that I disagree with, it's never to dog them. It's to have what we used to call dialogue. We used to call it dialogue. Dialogue, dia, to, die, to, a log. I think log is Latin for talking and shit. Two motherfuckers conversing. And I feel like we are in a landscape now where one person hears a monologue on CNN or Fox News or whatever, and they go off and they pitch that same monologue to you. And fortunate enough, in 2021, we got so many opinions going around. So it's easy for me to hear a monologue from you that I've already heard the rebuttal for. So you want to talk to me about, I don't know, gluten? Well, I got 17 scientists that back my finding that it's all horse shit.
Enough.
That's the nature of society right now. Where's your independent thought? Where's your curiosity? Where's your humanity? Are we just trying to dog each other, right? Are we just trying to be right? Are we just trying to achieve some sort of superiority over one another? Like that's one of the things that I really want to talk about. That's the extroverted version of humanity, but the introverted version of it, the introspective version of it, and what I would like to talk about today eventually is how we look at ourselves. Because for me, I can only speak for me. I can speak for you if you want me to, but you gotta pay me. But I can only speak for me. when it comes to how I've treated myself my entire life. I've been depressed. I've been a failure in my own eyes. I've been irredeemable. I've been unable to see my own strengths and gifts. And I look at other people and I don't judge them like that at all. And so there's this disconnect where I could be humane with somebody else and see that they are worthy of love, that they are worthy of adoration and of redemption. But I don't give that to myself. And I wonder today how many people God is telling that they are worth it. Amen.
Hallelujah.
And so a lot of what I want to talk about is if you do like a Venn diagram, like concentric circles that just converge on this idea that you can be curious about the world in a way that helps humanity. And if I could make my own Einstein equation, my E equals MC squared, I guess it's C times, what did I say? Curiosity, C times H, humanity equals hope, H-O, hope, ha. All right. I'm gonna get it together one of these days. But it's a simple formula that I go by. That I didn't develop on my own, that I'm not trying to be anybody's guru with, but it's helped me in the last few years, especially. I think one of the ways in which that I've conducted my life, I'll say post non-toxic. I got to figure out what that's called. Like the moment at which you realize that you're not playing into the toxicity in your subconscious, right? I grew up with this inherent mode. And I also like, I want this to be a platform for people to speak honestly, which is why this is all a beta test for the show. At the same time, I'm toying with the idea of doing these late at night so that the people that comment can comment with some sort of intimacy about what they're actually going through, because I don't want this to be I don't want this to just be me and my struggles all the time. I would love to talk to people. I would love to talk to people who can keep it 100 with me about the things that they've gotten wrong. Not like devastating, like put you in jail type shit. I'm talking about like you I'm talking about like you have a problem with little white lies or something. Or I'm in a job that I hate and I'm hurting and I'm projecting my hatred of this job that I have to go to every day on the people around me. I don't know how to fix it. Those are the types of people I want to talk to, because it's easy. It's so easy. And it's so tempting to look like you got it all together these days. But here, late with me, you ain't got to have it together. You ain't got to have it together. And I'm sorry if you tuned in for me to talk about something salacious like the election or like COVID-19, but that's just not what I'm here for. And I think that deserves a round of applause. I'm not here for that today. I'm not here for that today. I'm here for a different reason, because, or actually that's a good segue, because I feel like, and the reason I don't want to go there with a lot of those things tonight is because there is a tendency. I didn't realize this until last Friday, a week ago. I didn't realize that there is each trending topic on Twitter is a gateway drug. So like, of course we witnessed history last week. Excuse me. We witnessed history last week in the attempted coup of the government. I wonder if I still got this video. This is history. Unfortunate history right now. You know? And so that, all right, now hush. Now that plus COVID and lockdowns and travel bans and I'm sweating like a preacher, dog. It's LA. This LA weather had us bent today, nigga. It was 88 got up to 88 January 15th. Climate change. I don't have an opinion on that. Anyway, climate change, everything that's going on right now, there's a tendency to look at all of this at the same time and try to digest it all. Like I noticed this with George Floyd. So with the George Floyd incident, it was the video saw around the world. Everybody saw this video, and everybody, for the most part, unless you just are cold-hearted or extremely, extremely racist, everybody had a heart for this gentleman. Everybody did. And in the fallout in the intervening weeks, it seemed like most people felt like it was their responsibility to watch the video. It was their responsibility to stay on Twitter, to stay on Facebook, to stay, like, because they had to contribute and had to. And this culture promotes so much participation in things that honestly can fuck you up. Like this stuff with the election, it's partisan, it's polarizing. It's tempting to get involved because you feel like if you have an opinion on it, then you might be able to sway somebody's take who might otherwise be thinking a falsehood. And then you get by yourself and you exhausted from the day's tweeting, the day's Facebook posting, and you get alone and you wonder, what did you really do? Because you are beat, emotionally exhausted. You are messed up. How many more people will die because of COVID, because of this president, or however you swing it? If you're on the opposite end of the spectrum, how much longer do you got to deal with these liberals? Like these questions just loom in your mind, and the more you participate in this social and I don't want to say anarchy, this social drug. The more you participate in it, the more you crave the participation. And the more you crave that participation, from what I've seen and what I experienced happening in myself, the more you participate, the more you crave it. And the more you crave it, the more detached you become from regular life. Like your life that's like, I see you in front of me. How you doing? You get detached from your to-do list. You get detached from feeling like you should do anything because there's a pandemic going on and the economy's in the tank and the president's an idiot and deportation and war and Kim Jong and Joe Budden. And so you feel like, why am I going to work out today? Because like, seriously, I'm wore out. I'm tore up from all of this. It gets so deep for a lot of people that's how they spend their entire day. COVID, in the beginning, it really felt like it was going to be this time where we were all just in it together, where we were all just kind of sitting and dreaming up new ways to get into our internal state and figure out what it is that we really want, rethink our jobs, rethink the plan that we have, rethink if we've been giving our time and ourselves to the right things in this time where we just have our own space and sit alone in the quarantine. And I feel like after a month, when it looked like nobody actually had a plan, is when we started to, I don't know about this, the God rest the dead, but the Donner Party sort of syndrome started kicking in, where everybody's just like, I don't know if we're going to get out of this. And then one by one, we just start to eat each other. That's what I see happening a lot in this landscape. And I often wonder if it's truly that we feel like the other side is the enemy, or if in a lot of instances it might be, just maybe, that we've gotten in front of kind of like the old myth of what's that boy's name? But Narcissus, who saw his reflection and just stayed there. Are we in a moment in time where we are just staring so deeply at ourselves and our own opinions and looking for validation so deeply on the internet or from our friends or from CNN or from an argument that we had with some people online? Are we staring so deeply at this that we've become neurotic and unable to eliminate this transfixion that we have on ourselves? Curiosity, humanity, and hope. So I'm curious if we even know who we are anymore. Like in the hopelessness in this in 2021, of course there are things you can't change and it feels hopeless. Of course there are things that you probably can't even speak to, and those things feel hopeless. There are people that you will never convince, and that feels hopeless. But do you ever sit back and like ask yourself, like, why am I trying to do all this? Why the hell am I the one running around trying to crusade for? I certainly ask myself that every time I put this camera on. Why am I making vlogs? Why am I, why? I gave you my why though. My why is curiosity, humanity, and hope. Because I live in a world where I see so many people struggling to verbalize that they're hurting and why they're hurting. And when I talk to people and get to the bottom of why it is that they feel so deeply wounded by their lives and by the world around them and by their relationships, when I get down to it, what I often find is that a lot of people, most people, never stop and ask themselves why they do what they do. Why you have the relationship that you have. Why, even down to why, even down to why do you take care of your kids? Even down to why are you in school? Even down to why are you something positive and noble? Why are you a pastor? Why are you a paramedic? What brought you to this moment? Frank Lucas used to do. He said he used to do this thing. I don't know him personally, but the old heroin dealer from Harlem, he said he used to do this thing where he was, or maybe Denzel Washington was talking about it. He used to do this thing where he would sit in a room by himself for hours, alone, just thinking back to his first memory, and then remembering everything about his life up until him sitting in that room. And I thought it was really powerful because it gives you perspective. This is why I'm a huge advocate for journaling, because I don't admittedly, I don't keep a journal as much as I should. But when I go back and read, it is really illuminating because I realize, okay, I had this dream 2 years ago. I must be on the right track. Not dream like sleep dream, dream like actual dream for the world. I'll go back and for me, a lot of what chronicles my life is my music. So I go back and listen to old songs, and not only am I like, bro, you a good ass rapper, but I'm also like, that passion that you have for this thing or that thing, the passion that I had for community building was there in 2008 when I'm on records with Tech Nine and Calhoun in Kansas City. When I get my first placements out here in Los Angeles, I'm still in Kansas City in 2015. I still got the same heart while I'm riding around on my motorcycle on 18th and Jackson all the way over to 18th and Jackson, a Prospect and Jackson, all the way down to 63rd, all the way, like I'm doing all of this. Why? Because I feel like there's hope that can be found once we actually get down to the bottom of why we do what we do. So for me, what I had to do and what I encourage you to do, I've been trying to figure out how to make this I don't know, like a course or something. But I've been trying to figure out the appropriate way to disseminate this process to everybody else. And my process for this, and I do this often, I thought it was going to be a one-time thing, but coming out of, let's say, 17 years of just depression. Like, I was happy sometimes, but like just depression. And I feel like men don't talk a lot about as much about depression as they should. if you're a lady watching this and your man is always tired, ask him if he's depressed. Like, not with an agenda. Am I making you depressed? What's wrong with you? Like, hey, are you depressed? And hear him out. Because a lot of times men feel like we don't have the outlet. We don't have the reach. We don't have the structure in place relationally where we can be honest about what we're doing and how we're doing and how we're going about life. We don't feel like we could be honest about it. And in our dishonesty or distrust in the rest of humanity when it comes to ourselves, because that's what it really is. It's a trust issue. It's not a honesty issue. We could be honest with ourselves. Hell, like my friends, my brothers, these dudes are the most honest people, and they won't be any other way. But when it comes to being able to reach out, or when somebody asks you how you're doing, how often do you honestly explain to them that you are hopeless? How often do you honestly explain to them, like, yo, I don't want to do any of this anymore. Like, I want to move to the mountains. I want to get away from all this. I want to like get a new fake ID and passport and change my name to Paul. Like, that's the type of conversation that we need to start having, especially as men. Because a lot of manhood is coded with progress, with progress reports. We're feeling like if I don't provide, or if the bank account is low, or if there's no food in the fridge, or if everybody in the house is unhappy, then this must mean that I'm doing a terrible job. Mix that on top of a global pandemic. Mix that on top of tensions in the government and in the states, and what you've got is a recipe for somebody who doesn't know how to navigate through their lives or their life. My tense was all messed up. So let's reset the room. It's not a room, but let's reset. My name is Craig Smith. If you're just joining me, I am a rapper, activist, but what most people end up talking to me the most about is life. My mission is to inspire curiosity, humanity, and hope. And what I'm doing here today is this is always just an idea party. If you have a comment, I'm checking you out, bro. Kansas City all day. Let's clap it up for KC. We can do better than that. Let's clap it up for KC. We're going to kick the Browns' ass. That's right. We're going to kick their ass. We're going to take them up the street, and we're going to bring them back down the street. And then, no. All right.
Enough.
So with all that said, like, if you know that you're here for, let's backtrack. I was going to say, if you know that you're here for a purpose. However, I don't think many people subscribe to this notion off top. I don't think it's that easy for a lot of people to just say, I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a reason. Or if you believe that God's got you, or if you hear somebody say that, I don't think that's just natural for a lot of people to just say, what's up, Hens? And so what I think is more natural for people. What I think is more natural for people is to hypnotize yourself. And what I mean by that is positive affirmations, like God's got it. Positive affirmations, like everything happens for a reason. Positive affirmations, like it'll be all right. And this is what we crave from other people. And oftentimes, like, that's a terrific thing. I'm not shitting on that at all, because I need to do that as well. And I'm going to get on hypnosis in a minute. But when it comes to the remedy for the root cause of all of your dysfunction, all if not most of it, I feel like we don't spend enough time actually getting to know ourselves in order to get there. It's powerful when you actually examine your entire life and say, oh, that's the moment that I decided that I was going to live this way. Oh, that's the moment when I started my food fascination. I won't call it an eating disorder. That's the moment when I got in that bad habit of doing XYZ. Like taking inventory of life is important. And during this time, I feel like a lot of people have time to sit and jot down a few things that can help them. Maybe this is more of a Monday conversation because it's Friday and maybe everybody just logged on to see, you know, maybe there's a happier topic I could talk about. But this has really been on my heart though, because I've been just exhausted. We went to Las Vegas recently and the whole time I just wanted to sleep. Exhausted. Not because I'm doing anything bad or because anybody's making me do anything, but because you just run on 10 all the time. Because with responsibility, comes a bunch of things that you sign up for, you know? And these are all things that I wish somebody would have told me as an adult or as a kid about adulthood. The number one thing that I've been learning, especially since I've been out in Los Angeles, I got to Los Angeles November 2019, excuse me. I got to Los Angeles November 2019. And I don't know if you're from LA or if you've ever lived here, but it's expensive. And so I got to LA and I was in an Airbnb in a bunk. And I was paying probably about $200 a week for that bunk. Like just the bunk bed. And I was putting all my stuff up under it. Then right after that, I moved into a room that some friends of mine were renting out. And that was $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month for a room, ladies and gentlemen. I wish I had a gasp button, but I got the Jezebel button.
That little old Jezebel.
All right. And so I'm paying all of this. I've never paid and I'm drained because at the same time, I'm separated from my family who's still in Kansas City. I'm bringing them out in 2020. At this point in time, it's 2019, and it's so difficult. And then as I'm going, paying $1,500 a month for a room, a bedroom, it did have a bathroom attached. Then they decide that they're going to move. Damn. So that means I have to go find somewhere else to stay. I stay in somebody's spare bedroom. And I figure out that there's a place that I can move into. And at this point, I'm fully PTSD, like not like war PTSD, but like I'm so drained from looking for an apartment, and I didn't have a car. That's the other thing. I didn't have a car, so I'm just riding up and down the streets in LA, looking at these apartments, paying $50 per application fee. I think I spent $400 to $500 in application fees, not including my wife. And everybody's telling me that my credit's not good enough to rent a place. I got money. Well, I had to collect the money. Mind you, my wife and kids are back in Kansas City. I'm in LA. And so I finally find a place. And it was like, and that wasn't enough. I still had to furnish it with no car. And this is the early days of coronavirus. What is a coronavirus? And the Chinese were experiencing it real bad. And so all of the people that I knew in LA were telling me it's going to get really bad. And so I have to figure this out like right now. It's killing me. It's crushing me. I'm riding around on the bus. I'm listening to Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt album. That's the only thing that was even touching inspiration at this point in my life, where I felt like I had taken a leap from Kansas City and bringing my 3 children and my wife to Los Angeles with me. And I feel like a failure. Hopeless. Because at every turn, shit is hard. It's the most difficult, year of my life. Not even including the pandemic. Actually, the pandemic was kind of a break. I'm sitting here. I don't have my support system like I did back in Kansas City. Ain't nobody a Craig Smith fan in LA. Like, let's be real. I'm taking a leap of faith in myself who's let me down before, myself who's let my family down before. I'm taking a leap, and the shit is just, one step forward, 10 steps back. Another step forward, a punch in the dick. That's my journey of getting like into this room right now. And the thing that I noticed and what I wish somebody could have just told me, that I want to tell you about whatever it is that you got going on. It's just hard. It's just hard. It don't mean that you stupid. It don't mean that you're not destined to do what you want to do. It doesn't mean that you are maybe you're ill prepared. I think we're all a little ill prepared. But it doesn't mean anything about you that you leap out for your dreams and they're not giving you anything in return. It doesn't say anything about you. You know what it says? It says shit is hard. Shit is just really difficult. I understood that this year, not 2021. I understood that within the last several months because I was witnessing a few other people experience breakthroughs. And I remember talking to them about like life pre-breakthrough and how difficult it was, how much they were going through, how broke they were. And just the clouds just parted. And it said a lot to me about perseverance, yes. But there's this whole other part in between when you set out on a destination and when you get to your destination that I call the wilderness. And in the wilderness, it looks like hopelessness. 2020, 2021, it looks like, damn, we're never going to make it out of this. It looks like hopelessness. But when you take a step back and ask yourself, how else could I be looking at this? When you get curious just about the motivations and the inklings that you just have as a person, is there another way that you could look at this? Is there another way you could look at 2020, 2021? And is there another way that you could look at your life? That's really what I'm talking about, because the pandemic is going to be the pandemic. The federal government is going to be the federal government. White supremacists are going to be white supremacists, and you still going to be here. What I tell my kids all the time, Dad, I'm bored. I'm like, are you boring? Like, come on now. Like, get real. Like, if any time that you find yourself in the same predicament, you got to start looking at the common denominator. And it's always you. And that doesn't say anything bad about you. What it says is you got to examine what it is you want from life. You got to examine why it is you're here. And once you examine that and you realize that maybe I knew this before, like, you give yourself some credit when you actually do this work. Like, give yourself some credit, because sometimes you realize that, oh, I set out on a journey years ago without even understanding that that's what I was doing. When you got sick of and left a relationship and said, I deserve better. Yeah, you got yourself into another bad relationship, but you were uncomfortable inside it. And that's telling. Whenever you get uncomfortable, I want you to pay attention. This is what I'm trying to do. Actually, that's what's been helping me in the last 12 months. When instead of getting mad and reacting angrily, I say, well, why am I feeling this way? Well, and it's such a, like, it's so simple. I feel like I'm even wasting my breath saying it. But, like, why am I feeling this way? You ever stop? Nigga, you ever just pause? Hold on. Why does this make me so angry? Why does this make me so anxious? Why do I always let this person get under my skin? And sometimes what you get on the other side you don't like, but it's the truth. But it's the truth. Sometimes what you get on the other end is a kind of like the masks that we've been wearing since COVID started. Like, a lot of people understand now that their breath is wrong. But they would have never known that had they not put a mask on, had they not turned their breath inward. Turn your gaze inward. Turn your focus back to everything that you experience. I want you to be hyper vigilant about emotional changes, because once you start examining what you get in return is a good look at who you actually are. One interesting thing that I stumbled across in my studies. One interesting thing that I've stumbled across in my studies is this idea that when you do something, let's say you say something and somebody gets offended, and you are confused as to why they're offended. The reason why is because you understand your intentions. Whenever you look at your life, you look at it from the lens of your intentions. Whenever somebody else looks at your life, they look at what you do. And this divide, my Lord, y'all gonna make me preach. Now, the Bible says that man looks at the outside, while God looks at the inside. So you've been in a rut. My God. You've been in a rut financially. You've been in a rut in your relation, in your marriage. And what God is telling you to do is sow a seed. He's telling you to sow a seed. See, because the blessings that God has for you are all tied up in your willingness to part with what you have. Amen. Now, I want you to view the CashApp at the bottom of the screen and the CashApp to the top. And I want you to reach down deep into your pockets.
Hallelujah.
And I want you to grab as much as you can part with before rent. And I want you to send it. No, all right, I can't do this right now. I can't do this right now. All right. All that good stuff. All right. I'm so sorry. It's been a long day. I'm on caffeine and La Croix. It's La Croix, it's not LaCroix. Stop disrespecting the French. Anyway. So when you're engaged in all of this life, when life is throwing everything at you, what do you do? Or if it just feels like that, back to the point, like, are you really examining what's actually happening around you and what you're actually reacting to? Or are you on autopilot? A lot of study recently in the world of psychoanalytical science. I don't know, sociology. Somebody tell me. A lot of what we are experiencing as we observe people's behavior is that a lot of our actions are pre-programmed. We're conditioned to respond to stimuli in a certain way, given where we were born, who we were born to, given where we went to school, the friends we had, all condition us to be the people that we are. And a lot of times we don't take a step back and actually look and say, well, what does that say about the choices that I make? What does that say about the people that I continue to surround myself with? A lot of times we don't take a step back and look at that because whether we admit it or not, and this is important, whether we admit it or not, we're comfortable in a certain level of dysfunction. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is whenever you're looking forward to something, let's say you're looking forward to a donut. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to go get some Krispy Kremes, nigga, because I want some Krispy Kreme. So let's say you're looking forward to that. You've already signed a contract with yourself saying you are comfortable with X amount of calories. You're comfortable with X amount of fallout from whatever your dietary restrictions are. You're already saying that you're signing a contract saying you're okay with giving up a certain amount of money. Like, let's get really, really, really basic and simple with this. Whatever you do, you sign up for a certain level of compromise. Everything is a deal. Everything. Not to get too Trump on your ass, but everything is a deal. Think about the job that you have. What you're basically doing is saying that my time is worth this amount of money. My attention, my skill set is worth this amount of money. That's basically what you're agreeing to. Whether you're going to be worth more in the future is a different story. But what you're agreeing to right now is something that is very, very much quantifiable. Now, quantify the rest of your life this way. If you're in a hostile relationship, what you're agreeing to is to be treated a certain way for whatever benefit you get in exchange. Sometimes people are in relationships and they don't want to leave those relationships because they feel like the fallout will be much worse. Or to go a few layers deeper, if you are finally alone and by yourself or in a healthy relationship, and this goes for a lot of men, what does that say about you? If you find yourself in a better state, that means that you have more responsibility. Like, we used to always laugh because it seems like dudes with no like career prospects in and out of jail, you know, like, and sometimes you get caught up, but sometimes it is a characteristic of somebody who, as my father would say, has no hope, no future, no nothing. They get in these relationships with these girls, these ladies, these women, and it's like, well, how did this nigga pull her? And it's the same way with some women. It's like, you know, like you have nothing going on for yourself. How did you get to this place? And a lot of what it is, in my opinion, is that some people don't value themselves enough to feel like they can handle being in something healthy. So this is that old the old cause and effect of somebody who ends up treating people the way that they've been treated, right? So if I feel like I've always been treated like trash and I internalize that to mean I'm not worth being treated in a better way, and my hopelessness remains intact, whatever I do subconsciously is going to always guide me right back to being treated in a way that is congruent with what I feel about myself. So I'm not going to be comfortable in a good relationship if I'm only used to toxic relationships and I feel like that's what I deserve. I'm not going to be comfortable with somebody that don't want to argue. I'm not going to be comfortable with somebody that has shit to do. I'm going to be comfortable with somebody that, you know, like if I always, and this is a lot of how I view issues in certain communities. If we get more money, if we get funding, if we are upwardly mobile and nobody is oppressing us anymore, who are we now? What do we do now? What is our culture now? If you lose a this is what I'm going through with myself, bro. I'm not just saying this because I just think it. I'm not just saying this pulling out my ass. This is me talking to myself. I only got 2 people watching, so it's obviously me talking to myself. But what I'm going through with myself even is this notion of I need to drop 50 pounds. I'm going to say that to you watching. I need to drop 50 pounds. I need to eliminate about 25% of or 20% of my body. I'm at 25% body fat. I need to get that down by a lot. 50 pounds is what I've calculated. And the thing that is in my way the most is insecurity about who I will be if I start working out. It was that way with work a long time ago, because I'm going to tell you straight up, I was not a good guy. I wasn't. I'm still struggling to accept redemption for myself. So if I move up the ladder to the next phase and get physically fit, what does that say about me now? Who am I now that I work out? Because, you know, and a lot of it is seeing models of, this is why role models are so important for kids. Because unless you see somebody model a healthy version of whatever it is you want to become, you don't go for it unless you're crazy, like me. Like unless you just have just balls of steel, my nigga. Like unless you see it modeled for you, unless you internalize the examples that are out there, you don't go do it. Malcolm X said, if we can be convinced that we've never done anything, we can never do anything. For instance, this is shameless. This is a shameless brag. With this suit jacket I got on, I have on a whole suit. I didn't Zoom call y'all like this. I actually I got dressed for this. So I went to Goodwill out here. It's one of my favorite stores. Went to Goodwill and found this nice suit jacket. It fits me great. And I was looking for the pants for it, right? And I couldn't find the pants for it. This always happens. You always find blazers and never find pants. And I was looking on these forums and people were like, oh yeah, just throw it out. Just throw it out. Just throw it out. And then it dawned on me. And after I read one of the comments, I was like, oh, why don't I just go on the website and see if I can find a match? Nobody else was prescribing this. It's so easy. And I did it and it worked. Silly example. But what I'm saying is the world is always going to tell you. The world is always going to tell you how hard something is. In a sense, to keep you on par with the rest of the world. What the world wants is for extraordinary to hemorrhage and just stay average. What the world wants is for extraordinary to become average. We want to be entertained by it. Kanye West, we want to be entertained by him, but we don't want him to actually like have serious implications on anything. We want to be entertained by it. We want to be entertained by, we even want to participate in it to a certain extent, but we don't want it to define us because we are comfortable with a certain level of compromise. And it's, you know what? And if your life is fine like that, then God bless you. If you cool with that for your life, then go ahead and remain where you are. I wish I could be like you. But if you're striving, which is generally the people that I'm going to attract, is people that are always see that there's something else or more that they could be doing. Those are the people I'm trying to talk to. Nothing against people who are comfortable where they are, because that's what we're all striving for. Nothing against that. But the people I want to talk to are the people who go to sleep every night feeling like something's wrong, or they're not where they're supposed to be, or man, if I could only, or like those, if those thoughts occur to you, I think that there are simple steps that you could take to move in a better direction, even and especially if you feel like you're in a hopeless predicament. I can't do that because whatever. The DOC from NWA lost his voice in a car accident. He was probably going to be as big as Snoop, let's say. My brother lost his voice in a car accident. His voice of all things. He can walk fine, got all 10 fingers and 10 toes. He got his limbs. The one thing that he lost has always perplexed me since I was a kid. It kind of upset me that this could actually happen. Like the one thing that he lost was the one thing that the world saw and was like, he is going to be something because of that. He lost it. And was able to find his dream within his accident, within his loss, what he did was he started writing for other rappers. He became a mentor for other rappers and was very effective at doing so. And so what the world would tell him is, man, it's going to be hard. You're washed up. Not even you're washed up. It's going to be hard. I'm so sorry. But you've got to look past that. You've got to look past the wilderness. Years and years ago, maybe last week, maybe in this conversation right now, a lot of people find themselves in a place where they want more, want to do something different, or see that things can change. And the world wants to beat the world, meaning friends, family, motherfuckers that love you. The world meaning the media, the music, the goddamn, I don't know, school, counselors, teachers, the world, everything in the world might come up against you. But the one thing that you always will have, especially if you let those voices get to you, is a longing for something different. A longing for something different. The reason why it's interesting to me that, the reason why it's interesting to me that so many people like are in line with conspiracies about the government and Trump and XYZ is because it's interesting to me, because it's almost like people need meaning in order to make sense of the hopelessness around them. If I'm broke and somebody else has money, I wonder what they did to get it and how fucked up they must be. And then that just spirals out, and then, you create a group around it, and then you come up with conspiracy theories. Or maybe the conspiracy theories are true. I'm not here for that. Honestly, you know what? Don't touch my kids, and I ain't got to shoot nobody, period. But for the most part, it's a struggle for hope. It's a struggle for meaning. These people don't believe, like, we've got to stop doing this thing where we disqualify people because they disagree with us. We got to stop doing this thing where, oh, this person joined the cult, so they must be stupid. No. I think statistically, the people who are most susceptible to things like cults are smart, have degrees and high profile jobs and make a lot of money. I wish they would give it to me instead, but this conversation for another day. But what I'm saying is, please forgive me. What I'm saying is, if we look at life through the lens that the world paints, if we look at life, I want to make this poetic. If we continue to look at life in the strokes that the world paints, right? Then we will always be doomed to just see whatever the world gives us. But the canvas is way bigger, and you've got way more power than you think. So as you're going back and examining where you've come from, like, that's another big thing, and pause, but you've got to count your trophies. Your trophies, man. You good at something. You good at something. Even if you just good at watching movies, you good at something. Even if you just good at cooking. Not even just good at cooking. You know how many bad cooks it is? Anyway, but you good at something. You've achieved something. Even if it's something small. Maybe you changed the light bulb once in your life. I don't know. You good at something. Count that as a trophy. Count your wins. Stir yourself up. Do some corny shit. Give yourself a pep talk. Because it's too dire right now. It's too dire because people are like rich people who have everything that they said that they wanted are killing themselves. Last I checked, the highest rate of suicide in this country is white men over the age of 40. The people you would think would have it all. You don't get racially profiled and, like, good credit. Like, it's those motherfuckers that's killing themselves the most. And of course, rates are rising everywhere else as well. And with it being such a tumultuous time in our collective history, I would be remiss if I didn't get up here and tell you that it is possible for you to achieve whatever it is that you're setting out to do, even during a pandemic, even during global unrest. It's so funny to me because every time there's been calamity in the world, there have been people who've broken out and not only built like large companies and been like Facebook, but just people who have thrived. And the line of delineation, the marker of success for those people is that they just don't stop. My journey getting to LA and bringing my family out here, it is only a testament to me just keeping the fucking fight going. Like, just tired of the rope-a-dope. Rope-a-dope. Down goes motherfucking Foreman. Like, let life punch. This shit is just hard. It's going to hit you one way or the other. You either develop the understanding, not even on no tough shit. You either develop the understanding that it's just hard and keep going, or you allow life to win. One of the things that I was really encouraged by is how many people responded well to me saying during the George Floyd instance and what black people could do for themselves is that you are the leader. You are the leader. You are the hero of this story. You might not be everybody's hero, but you a leader and a hero in your own story. And that's scary because nobody's going to give you anything. I'm certainly not. I hope you will, though. Nobody's going to, if you find this valuable, all jokes aside, if you find this valuable, I always appreciate when people give, because it just lets me know that I'm not doing this in vain. And if not money, then just show your appreciation with a share or a comment or message, whatever. I would love to make this a format wherein I include other people's voices. But back to what I'm saying. When you are able to continue fighting, continue pushing, and you recontextualize all the hard stuff as just hard, then it's not personal for you. Then you just go and you go hard and you go strong because that's what the fuck you do. You tough just because that's who you are. Life ain't gonna kill you because you made the decision that it won't. Sometimes it's just that simple. Sometimes it's not. But most of the time it's just that simple. You put on that brave face. But it doesn't happen unless you get back to basics. You got to know what you hustling for. You got to know who you want to become. You got to know why you've done the things that you've done in your life. Go back to the first moment that you felt rejected in your life. And some disclaimer, do this. If you can't handle doing this on your own, find a professional. I'm not sponsored by BetterHelp, but BetterHelp is online. It's not free, but therapy is cheaper than a funeral. And stress will kill you. Trust me. But get back to the first time you felt rejected. The first time you felt like a failure. The first time you felt hopeless. The first time in the conditions around you feeling like you're a burden or feeling like your dreams won't come true. Get back to the first moment that happened. How old were you? Were you 10, 6, 12, 20? Do you still want that to rule your life? I decided that I didn't want my young child experience of feeling like a failure and feeling rejected. I didn't want that to define me. If I'm going to be out here in Los Angeles trying to make my dreams come true and deal with all of the hardship that comes along with it, I'm not going to let a 6-year-old, the 6-year-old that is me, dictate the emotional security of this journey. You got to reformat that, but you got to understand that that's where it comes from. Because if you don't, then you're doomed to repeat everything that you have experienced up to this point. It's up to you. It's up to you to take those steps. Because there is, like I talked about earlier, there is a world wherein you don't have to do any of this. You can log off right now. You can go and eat your Ben and Jerry's. Oh, that sounds good. Eat your Ben and Jerry's. You can watch the new Amazon movie about Malcolm X and them, and you can just be cool. Or you can realize that life is difficult as it is. And that feeling that you have that doesn't allow you to do all of that stuff I just mentioned, the Ben and Jerry's and the movie and all that. If you do that every night and you never feel okay with how you're spending your time, it might be time to reanalyze why you do what you do. And once you do, once you take one step, the next step will be easier. Neural pathways. This is why people do like ayahuasca and the toad and all of that. Hence, you still with me? If you with me in the comments, drop a hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
If you with me in the comments, drop a hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Girl, no.
Enough.
But that's why I'm here. I feel like this has all been a really good moment for me to understand why it is that I'm here. What you're experiencing right now is me talking myself through, because my conversation today or yesterday with my uncle was about this platform and what to do with it, because I don't want to talk about politics. I have political takes, and I feel like they're pretty good, actually. And maybe I'll run for office one day. You never know. If you see me running for office, we've gotten into some shit, some deeper shit. But I want to use this platform to promote curiosity, humanity, and hope. I want you to ask questions about the world. I want you to teach your kids to ask questions about the world. I want you to look outward and see how you could benefit humanity. But I also want you to look inward and see if you're being that level of humane to yourself. Self-care is prayer. Yeah. Self-care is hair. Yeah. Hold up. Self-care is truth and dare, understanding you ain't Superman and still striving to fly. Eyes on the prize. This is excellence. God cheer you on in disguise. Got to know it when you see it. Dream it, be the beacon in the lows and the highs. This is excellence. This is testament. Get your life back. I feel like I need a snap button. I need a snap button. See, that don't have the same effect. That don't have the same effect at all. But all of this is in an attempt to get you to look at your life as hopeful. In the midst of a global pandemic, yes, you can still be healthy. In the midst of turmoil at the Capitol, yes, you can still make friends. In the midst of all of this, life does not stop. You still got to live with you. And your emotional well-being is what just absolutely has to stay intact. Otherwise, you'll be one of those people running up in the Capitol. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that at all. We all just need to let go of our past life and move forward with life. That's exactly what I'm talking about. But you got to reckon with it. You can't move past something you can't see where it is. You know? You can't move past something if you don't recognize the truth of the matter. The reason the Titanic sunk is because they didn't understand the consequence of how they maneuvered around an object that they didn't fully understand. So they thought that they could just swerve around it. Nah. Well, it would have been better if they would have hit it head on. Because it wouldn't have sank their entire ship. It would have caused some damage. It would have been hard, but it wouldn't have caused as much catastrophe as it did. How are you steering your ship in this glacier-filled ocean? Right? If we're going to move forward with life, we got to understand that, like, life is linear, yes, but you're experiencing the past even today. And you will continue to experience the past in every interaction. This is exactly what science has said. That you figure out what works best in certain situations and you continue to perpetuate the same cycles over and over again. This is why boundaries are important with people, because when you allow people to treat you a certain way, what it does is it allows them to say, okay, this is what the world looks like around this person. This must be okay with them. Boundaries within yourself, making better decisions. Better meaning decisions that are congruent with where you want to be. Because what that is you looking at your life and looking at where you want to go and you making the world conform to where you want to be. The past is always present in everything that you do. And your ability to look at the past and say, I don't want to operate with it like that no more. Person in my family talk crazy to me all the time. I usually just, it's in the past that they talk to me like that, but they're going to do it again. And when the past comes knocking again, what are you going to do? You got to go back and reckon with why it got to where it is and why you're susceptible to certain things like that. But moreover, what the condition of your future looks like. It all hinges on how you operate with the past that keeps coming up. And those are called principles. Those are called boundaries. That's like when you meet somebody and you admire them, what you admire is the world that they've built with their actions. What you admire is the way that you see your life could become by merely being around them. Either because they confirm what you already believe in here. So if you meet somebody and they're super thoughtful, you want to be more thoughtful. Or you want somebody to treat you in a thoughtful manner because you've never had that before, or you've had it before and you lost it. And so you begin to mirror what they do. The problem that we face is that we don't internalize the person that we want to become. And this is why a lot of relationships fail. Because a lot of what we present in the beginning is what we honestly want to be. You put on your best self when you meet somebody new, the honeymoon phase. And then when you get married, it all comes off. You know what that is? It's hope brushing up and clashing against reality. Because honestly, like there are a lot of people who tell their future mate when they first meet them, yeah, I'm a screenwriter. And then, they shortly find out later, like this person's a barista. And there's nothing wrong with that. The thing that you fell in love with was a perception that this person had drive and creativity and wanted to do something more with their lives. And then years down the line, you question, like, why am I with this person? Oh, it's because they told me that they was trying to be a screenwriter. Well, what happened with that? They told me that they wanted to get in shape and they had a gym membership. That's where I met them. What happened with that? And all of those things that this person was presenting were honestly what they wanted to do with their life. But it wasn't life to them yet. A lot of times a failure of willpower and a failure to commit to something is all because we haven't made the decision to be somebody else. You have to be continually changing. Identity doesn't have to be such a rigid thing. And I honestly wish a lot of people would believe this, because we plant our identity flag in so many things that don't have to be what they are. And you can take an exit and say, you know what, I was wrong about that weird political ideology I had. And we could be cool, and we could even still disagree. But the fact that our identity is so wrapped up in righteous things, we can't move past them, and it affects everything. It makes us feel like everything is hopeless because there's no beating the enemy into submission, because now everybody believes so deeply in who they are or who they want to be. Not even in who they are. I don't think people know who they are. for the most part.
Oh, it's late.
It is getting late. So I'll leave you with this. The famous and thoughtful poet pirate Jack Sparrow once said, and I always butcher this quote, but there's only two things in this world: what a man can do and what he can't. It's really thoughtful, Hans. There's only two things in a man's life: what he can do and what he can't. So paraphrasing, you can either accept the reality that you have and change it, or you can't. I am Craig Smith. I want to thank y'all so very much for watching. I'm going to try to do these 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It won't be this late, but make sure you subscribe to my channel on YouTube. That's where I'm going to be posting these. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and on Facebook at I am Craig Smith on both of those platforms, so that you can stay up to date with what's going on with me. As always, if you would like to support the show and feed starving children at my house, because these little dudes eat everything. If you would like to support, hit the CashApp. It's all at I am Craig Smith. My mission is to promote curiosity, humanity, and hope for all people, not just you people, but them people too. So I am Craig Smith. Thank y'all.
I had a moment, I had to be a savage, I had to put it in motion. You so mad and I'm laughing. You know we came from the show me. We don't care, we blasting up and we glowing. The angel gon' buy me an ass.